right, here we are. Welcome to Eye of Taurus Tarot, and happy Halloween, or All Hallows Eve, or Samhain, if you will. So, this is the reading that I'm going to do tonight. I have been doing, or in the past I did more pick a card readings. Tonight is not going to be interactive. Tonight, I think that the easiest thing, the best thing I can do is to just go ahead and do the reading, and you take what resonates with you. Remember, this is a general reading, and every tarot reader says that, but there's a reason we say that. So you just take what resonates and you chuck what doesn't, and you don't worry about it, okay? So that's how we're going to do this tonight, okay? So the very first thing I'm going to do is let you know that I will put the decks in the description for this video so that if you like them, you can use them. This is my newest one. This is the, oh gosh, of course it just left my mind as soon as I said that. It is the Dark Mansion Tarot. I apologize. And that is by Taroteca Studios, and it is just gorgeous, and I love it, and that's why I have to use it tonight on Halloween especially, okay? So let's go ahead and get to it and get right into your reading. So the very first card, we have the Hanged Man. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Star. And we have the Eight of Cups. So I'm going to kind of close up on these so that you can see them. Hopefully my camera's going to do well with the lighting here. So here's the Hanged Man. The Knight of Cups. Now, one thing I really love about this deck is the art. I just love it. It's gorgeous. The Star and the Eight of Cups. Now, just to warn you, farewell warning, I do not read the way other, well, no, I'm not going to say every other, but I read a little differently, okay? So I am not someone who memorized the meanings and the cards and read from a definition, okay? So I am a medium and I channel, and so these are going to be channeled messages that you get tonight, okay? Now I'm getting two distinct groups here. So you see which one that you resonate with the best. Our first group is that stuck group. They're the group that has just been wondering, when is it going to lift? When is it going to get better? When? And Spirit is giving you a very distinct message with the Eight of Cups here. And that is, you have got to be willing to leave all your limiting beliefs behind and embark on an entirely new journey. So if you say limiting things to yourself, or if you have become so disconnected that you cannot hear your own autopilot, this is where it's kicking you in the ass. This is where, and by the way, I swear, this is where it is catching up with you and kicking you and just biting you. So you'll get to a certain place. You'll go from nothing to, you'll work so hard to get to a certain level, and then you yourself are the one that keeps you from crossing the finish line. And I know that that is kind of a bitch to hear. Most people don't like to hear a message like that. They're pretty sure it's an external reason. But what this is, what Spirit is talking to you about, is having enough self-love to be your own rescuer, to come in on you, to be your own white knight, and to come in and kind of work with yourself versus against yourself, working with the voices in your head, working with the limiting beliefs. So if one of your limiting beliefs is, man, I really want money, but the truth is, deep down, you don't believe you'll ever have it, this is where you are holding yourself back. This is where you go, and then yank yourself right back. Now, whether that's through self-sabotage and self-sabotage does not always look like self-sabotage. Like, it doesn't always look like you actively taking an action against yourself. Sometimes it looks like no action at all, right? Sometimes it looks like no action at all and just waiting for things to change and get better, but refusing to meet spirit in the middle. Now, the good news about this is that this is suggesting, do you see the night, the moon here, illuminating the path ahead? This is suggesting that some of these shadows, we see the ship here going away, some of these shadows are starting to leave. And you're gathering up your courage, this nice red robe of fiery courage, to embark on a completely, you're on new land. You're in a new journey. You're on new land. You can do so many things. And so it's starting to heal. You're starting to tell yourself, well, now, no, wait a minute. There have been times in my life that things have worked out. Hold on now. Now, I can't quite remember how it felt when things worked out, but I know that they have. And I know that no matter what happens, I am the keeper of my own well. I know how to fill myself up. I know how to heal me. Because there's just that piece of you, that white knight piece for your own self, that swoops in and says, I will always be okay, no matter how hard it gets. There is an inner strength to me. There is a perseverance to me, and I will get back up. And boy, the world best watch it when I do, because then, boom, look at all this. This is just, look at all that red, that passion, that fire, that love, that self-love. I'm going to call this self-love, because the horse, if you look at the horse's expression, and I'm not sure you can see it entirely, but he's just like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this. All right. And going into that emotion, going in to investigate. What is it I believe? Why do I believe it? And Spirit says, to heal it, you must confirm evidence to the contrary of it. So when little things work out for you, no matter how little they are, confirm them. When you ask for support and you get it, confirm it. Oh, thank you. I got that support. Oh, I'm so grateful and happy. Okay. This is the alchemy that is going to get you unstuck. So especially in the, I don't know if I want to say spiritual, but in the magic community, in the witch community, in the healer, spiritual, spell working community, people can get very, very frustrated because they do external actions. They burn candles, or they do spell work, or they do whatever they need to do. And then the energy does not move. And this is where me being kind of an old world, old soul, I will tell you every time, your alchemy is not in the spell work that you do. It's not in the action that you take always. Well, I'm going to say the root of it always is in here. It's always within, and it's always about your beliefs. Always, 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 always. But as I said before, that shadow, that ship, it's moving away. You are ready to embark on this new journey. Okay. The second group, if I can veer off for just a second. What I see for the second group is not so much, and I don't even know that I can make it an entire group by itself, but I'm not seeing stuckness here. I'm seeing coming out of that period of stuckness and moving forward. Much like the first group, I think what the difference is for me and what I was hearing earlier was this group does not have the same fear in it. It does not have the same, well, it's just going to go the same way it's always gone, isn't it? I mean, this is just my life. That's not apparent in the second, or for a certain group of people that I'm speaking to right now. That's not apparent in this read for you. For you, these things have been healed, or they are very, very, very close, because you are so at peace. You are so in surrender. You are so in recognition. You are so in acknowledgement. You are so at soul level worthy, where you know you're just worthy because, right? That this journey of yours isn't a frightening thing, and you're not worried if the moon were to go out. You're so ready to embark on this new journey that you're just kind of like, well, you know, if I don't have a light, I'll grab a stick and I'll light it on fire and I'll make a torch and I'll do what I have to do. And that does come from just ultimate healing and self-love. That is just, I am ready. Nothing's going to stop me. Here I go charging into this water. The same water, by the way, from your own inner well, right? So this is like, you are no longer afraid of your emotion. You are no longer denying your inner guidance, your spiritual guidance, your belief in your own alchemy, your belief in the inner worthiness of yourself. You're just ready to go. You're just ready to go. Now, I did draw a few more cards to give us just a little bit more in these messages. And again, if we take a look, right? So this is from the Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle cards. And if we take a look at the same blues, right? This is surrender. This is complete surrender. This is trust and faith and purpose and whole and heart and hearth and ready and let's go, right? Because this is all renewal here. These butterflies, right? What happens with butterflies? They go under, they go in the cocoon, and they transform, they metamorphose, right? Into these beautiful, beautiful butterflies, right? And so that's what this purpose, what this journey is really, really for. And for that first group that I was talking to, the risk is, you know, it is something that comes to the mind, but what I'm seeing here is you have a real choice to make because, sorry about that, guys, my video cut out. So what I was saying is the first group has a real choice to make. You've got to start understanding that the mind is not, how do I say this? The mind will tell you all sorts of things. The mind will say, well, it's never worked before. Why would it work now? The mind will say, well, you went and got that education, but how has it served you? The mind will say, yeah, you love this person, but they're like this and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just like the mind, you have to understand the mind, first of all, lives in the past for most of us, right? And that's paraphrasing Joe Dispenza, even though I don't even, well, let's just say paraphrasing Joe Dispenza. I like Joe Dispenza. I don't want to come off like I don't. I'm really glad that spiritual concepts are starting to be accepted by scientists, you know, especially highly credentialed scientists. I'm glad that science is starting to catch up. That being said, that was my little rant. That being said, the mind can really convince you. And it can do this thing where it takes the circumstance that you've either already lived or a circumstance that you are living in and use it as proof that your new circumstance cannot be. So you have to actively say to yourself, no, just because, you know, this didn't work out then doesn't mean it's not going to work out now. And if that feels like, well, that just doesn't resonate with me, or it's too weak link, and I'm not going to grab it. For instance, I do holistic fairs, right? And so there are, you know, Sundays at a lot of places are typically, they're slower to start because, you know, people are sleeping in or having breakfast with their families or even going to church before they hit the holistic fair. And when I was brand new and just starting to do shows, I was so nervous, right? And I remember feeling scared and nervous and like, oh man, nobody's here. What if I sit here all day? And I love teaching and I love reading and I love doing these things. It's my way of really trying to help as much as I can. And I would get super nervous. And I had to actively teach myself that just because either the Sunday at the last holistic fair was slower doesn't mean that this one's going to be, or just because nobody was there at right away at 9 o'clock in the morning did not mean that I was going to be sitting there all day long by myself. And I started doing things to kind of ease the mind and ease the anxiety. And that's what it's really telling that first group. You have got to. This is fear. This is straight up fear. Okay. And you have got to read between your own lines and set yourself free from the risk of your own fear, because your fear will lead you to self-sabotage. Your fear will lead you to expecting way less from yourself than you should. Your fear will tell you that it's never going to get any better or get any different, or you're never going to get the result you want. Your fear will, that monkey mind, right, will tell you all sorts of things. And it is imperative that you start telling yourself differently. Now, for those others that I was talking to that are kind of already on this journey, they've taken the step, they've started going, they're charging ahead. Your risk here is not being discerning. It is jumping too far ahead and not allowing yourself the time to go slowly in an endeavor, no matter what that endeavor is. If it's career, read the fine line, read the fine print. If you're signing legal documents, if you're engaging in a new romance, take it slow. Don't jump head first. Take it slow. Find out about things and start asking yourself questions, because we don't ask ourselves enough questions. We ask other people, oh, what do you want? Or what do you think? Oh, what do you bring to the table? Or we ask our bosses, what are you going to pay me? Or those kinds of things. And we're always looking outward from us. And you need to start asking yourself, does this fit my principles? Does this offer me the things that I'm looking for? Does this resonate with who I am as a person? Does this bring me closer to the picture I have for myself? And if you don't have a picture for yourself, then that's where you start. You're going to need to have a picture for yourself, because your baseline, your default setting, right? It is very, very easy to get comfortable in that default and not move. And your experience in life, right? The mirror will reflect back to you the non-movement, right? And so we see it again here with the hanged man and the horses. Just grazing, right? Just floating, just kind of getting by, just not worrying about too much of it, because our monkey minds can make us feel very small and very vulnerable. And you're really being encouraged to embrace your inner baby, your inner child, your inner vulnerability, your inner what if this doesn't workness, because, and that might not even be English, but the reason is because this is for a new belief in yourself, and it will absolutely directly affect the abundance that you have in your world. Now, whether that abundance is in love or money or health, or whether it's material things, emotional things, spiritual things, you got to remember that the all is everything on that spectrum. Okay. No matter what it is, your re-belief in, I don't think it's re-belief, but your belief in yourself, cultivating, just like a baby, you would feed the baby and help the baby grow. Just like a plant, you would take it from a seedling and you would grow it. Those are the things that you need to do. You have to cultivate, encourage yourself, become your best cheerleader, your best friend, and hang around with people who believe in you. For those of you who have begun the journey, again, that discernment is going to be vital to you, because you really want to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people whose goals match yours, who are into the same stuff that you're in. And this is for both groups, really. But people who, if you can't learn from your group, it's time to get a new group. I mean, that's just the truth. If you are the highest peg in your group and you don't feel like you have anything to learn from them, then that group is that you've outgrown it. And it doesn't mean you can't be friends with those people, but where your reflection from the universe, what you're putting out and it coming back to you, you really, really, really want to be surrounding yourself with people of the caliber of the person that you are turning into, the caliber of the person that you want to be. I can't say it enough. You need that discernment. Take things slow. And ask yourself always, when you go to eat something, does this food make my body perform well? Am I feeding myself for optimal health and happiness? Doesn't mean the food has to taste like shit. You can have good food that is good food, right? But with all of these things, I just really want you to get a really clear idea of whether or not it's bringing you closer or farther, okay? And so your action card here is the Three of Swords. So this is a very action-oriented deck. And most people would say, oh no, that's not action, that's pain. Yes, you're coming out of that. Because if we take a look closely at this card, right? If we take a look, these shadows, these ghosts, this, you know, oh, I failed, or I made a mistake, or I'm just not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I'm sad all the time, or I'm just not happy in my life, or whatever the ish is, right? If we take a look, those nice blue, happy, cheery skies are coming through this window. You're coming out of the ish. You're coming out of that ish. And then our next card is Six of Hearts. Now, this is typically a remembrance, nostalgia, you know, things like that. Sometimes it can represent soulmates, but where I'm going to take this today is really about the inner union, and from the inner union, that realm of possibility just opening right up. Look at all those hearts. Okay, this is about coming in to not resignation, but acceptance and wholeness, and an ability to look back on your life without complete remorse, without that remorse, without disappointment and like you're a failure. And you're going to look back on things and go, no, these are the lessons that I gleaned from this. This is what has made me a stronger person. This is what has grown me at my soul level. And now these new people that come into my life, well, they're more in alignment with what I see for myself and who I think I am now versus who I was before. Okay, now this is a very messy spread and I apologize for that, but I think we'll draw one more card and then we'll call it good. 7. So the Chariot. Again, this is you well on your way. We are leaving the shadows of the past behind. Now, one bit of advice here. Again, if you don't want to experience going from a 0 to a 5, getting to the 5, and then pulling yourself back to the 1, or even higher than that, where it becomes more and more painful, to where you're telling yourself, you know, if I just don't try, then it doesn't hurt. I don't get more hurt and I'm not more disappointed. If you don't want to go backwards, again, remembrance, nostalgia, okay, into that energy, this is where your discernment needs to be on point. So take things slowly. The more you fill your own cup with your own self-love, the more you realize who you are, the more that you really become your own best friend. And it's not that I'm saying you have to do it all by yourself, because you don't. We're wired for connection. We need our connections. But it is a balance, right? We're not asking the other person to be our world and make our world okay, because that's that's an imprisonment in itself, right? But what we are doing is finding the sweet spot. We're finding the balance, giving ourselves as much as we can give ourselves, and then surrounding ourselves with excellent people. Just excellent, man. I just thought of Bill and Ted. Sorry. Anyway, we're going to surround ourselves with the most excellent people who encourage us and inspire us, and we can learn from, and they learn from us, and we grow and we grow and we have good times and we laugh. But yes, they're into the same kind of stuff that we're into. Find community, find your tribe. Okay. And for those of you, what Spirit is telling me right now is those of you looking for love, be patient and relax. There is no door that is closing on you. You are not running out of time. That's where that discernment is really going to come in. You really do want to just be okay with being where you are. And if you're not, if you have so much time because you're not indulging in the creative and amazing projects that you need to be doing right now, that you're thinking about what you don't have, then you need to get on that. You need to figure out what are things that fill your soul and make you happy and that you love doing, much like doing things like this. And then go do them. And you guys can see, this is not a fancy setup. I don't have a fancy setup. I've had some tragedies in my family. I've been off YouTube for a very long time. And I don't even have a tripod right now, right? So it doesn't matter where you start. It really, truly, it doesn't matter where you start. Just start. Start with what you have right now, doing what you love right now, even if it's after work and at night, and just do what you can do. You don't have to have any money. Just do it. Okay? All right. So I hope that these messages resonated with you. Again, this is Theresa from Eye of Taurus Tarot. I will be bringing you more readings. Take what worked for you, take what resonated, chuck the rest. You don't need to keep it with you. And if this wasn't your reading, then maybe the next one will be. And if not, there are some amazing readers on YouTube. And I have a handful of readers that I listen to that are just, I mean, they are amazing. So happy Halloween, happy Samhain to all of my tribe out there, the ones that know like we know. I bid you amazing, great blessings on this All Hallows Eve, and take care.